Okay, so here's a crazy story in my book. This is crazy. In the early days of doing shows here in Australia, we would find these ways of making the same show every day different, which was really cool, and that's what, it was really that, that sense of it not being a scripted show, but it had a format to it, and that made the show evolve and it became something different. So Anthony started out as Captain Feathersword. And in the early days of doing the Wiggles shows, it was very low budget. It was just the four of us doing the characters. And we were working 7 days a week. So we were doing shows 7 days a week, day in, day out. And we ended up, Sundays were Jeff's day to be Captain Feathersword. He did a decent job. He was no Anthony, and he was certainly no Paul Paddock. But he did his own interpretation of Captain Feathersword, which for us provided great amusement on a Sunday when we were going crazy after doing 7 days straight of Wiggles shows. And we're in a little country town here in Australia called Whyalla. So we told Paul that he wasn't doing Captain Feathersword that day. This is Paul Rogers, not Paul Paddock. This is before Paul Paddock was with us. So this must have been 93, I reckon. Captain Feathersword Sunday was back for Jeff. And Jeff had not rehearsed it with us after maybe a year or so of not doing it, in this hall with 20 people in it. They were responding quite well to the rest of the show, but when Captain Feathersword came out, you could hear a pin drop. Jeff did not remember his lines. He didn't remember the purpose of the skits, and and we were no help to him. We just stood there on stage laughing at him and laughing at the fact that Captain Feathersword Sundays were back, and these poor people in Whyalla were getting dudded. So I apologise to those people that were at that third show in Whyalla on that Sunday. It got to the point where I think Jeff was speaking with an Irish accent, top of the morning to you, Greg, and all this kind of stuff. It was really quite funny. I don't know if the audience ever got it, but this is what being with the Wiggles was like. It was not, people often will say to us, did you set out to conquer the world, or did you set out to make an empire? We didn't set out to do anything. We were able to do as well as we did because we didn't set out to do all those things. We just set out to create good quality children's content, and that was our focus. We were still those larrikin guys, those four teachers, those four blokes, those four friends. We weren't these big producers. We weren't these people that were like, okay, don't deviate from the script. You can't deviate from that. It's got to be this and it's got to be that. If we were like that, I don't think the Wiggles would have worked.